Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting an update from TriStar Gold. The company trades on the TSX.V under the symbol TSG. With us today is TriStar's Vice President, Andrew Grant. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Megan. Thanks a lot for this conversation.
Absolutely. Now, Andrew, could you give those new to TriStar Gold a brief introduction to the company and your Castelo de Sonhos gold project?
Certainly. Well, we've been operating on the Castelo de Sonhos gold exploration project for many years now. We've advanced through a lot of exploration drilling into a pre-feasibility study, which was completed in 2021. And our focus right now is on permitting and moving the project forward into feasibility. So it's a very exciting time for us.
And late last year, the company completed, like you said, the pre-feasibility study at CDS and has now begun the next steps of development in regards to permitting the project. Could you give us a run through of what has been completed to date and the next steps in this permitting process?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, environmental legislation in Brazil is quite mature and comprehensive. And so for a smaller company like TriStar, it's fantastic because there's really not a lot of guesswork around permitting. The environmental regulators, which in our case is the Environmental Secretariat in Pará State, have been very, very clear with us about their expectations and the parameters that they expect to see in the studies that we do and what we present to them in support of our permitting. So in the last few years, what we've done is we have received from SEMAS the terms of reference for the environmental impact assessment. So they very clearly laid out for us what they expect. And then we put together the team of specialist contractors, companies to support us in doing all the studies that are required. And that culminated in Q3 of this year with the completion of the EIA, the completion of what's called the report on the EIA, the RIMA. And we submitted what's called the LP, the Licença Prévia in Portuguese, the prior license request to the Environmental Secretariat in Q3. So it's a very exciting time right now because SEMAS, our key regulator on environmental permitting, they have not only been very clear with us about what they expect, but they've got very ongoing open communications with TriStar. They've been very, very responsive to us, and they help us with any questions or concerns that we've had along the way. So it's been a very busy time the last couple of years in doing all of the work on the ground with the TriStar team and with all of our different associated companies to get all these studies in place and do all this comprehensive work. And it's quite exciting because now we are moving into the next stage of permitting. So far, we've had absolutely no delays whatsoever to our environmental permitting timelines. We don't anticipate any. So where we're at right now is that having submitted the LP request in Q3, we are told by SEMAS that in the next couple of weeks, they will actually begin the formal comprehensive review of our EIA and our LP request. We have already scheduled with SEMAS a site visit to Castelo de Sonhos with their multidisciplinary team in Q1 of next year. That'll be followed immediately by the public hearing. And our anticipation is that we will receive that first stage of environmental permitting, that LP, in Q3 of next year. And why that LP is so important is that it is the first and arguably most important stage of environmental permitting in Brazil. Why? Because it indicates the viability of a project like ours, both from an environmental and a socioeconomic standpoint. So we're really excited about where we're at right now. We're very enthusiastic about the level of engagement we've been getting from our regulators. We see no red flags whatsoever, and it's all about just continuing to move forward with our engagement and our preparations for these next stages.
Now, Brazil has been in the news lately with the change in government. Is there any early indication on the new government stance towards mining? And do you see any delays with permitting as the country changes control?
That's a great question, Megan. So for a company like TriStar, where over the coming years we're going to be doing a very, very significant level of engagement with our regulators at the federal level, the state level, the municipal level, the sub-district level, understanding political risk and managing those relationships is really vital. I can tell you that fairly comprehensively across the board, the consensus right now within the industry and people who pay close attention to the industry is that the new administration, which takes office on January 1st, is not likely to mean any major changes for the mining sector. So they have been clear all through the election campaign that one of their top priorities is encouraging mining exploration and supporting responsible industrial mining. So this is great news for smaller and medium-sized companies like TriStar because it assures us that the incoming government is not expected to promote any major steps against responsible mining. Having said that, we're obviously very, very attentive to any potential for changes to tax laws, which the government might do to subsidize any new social programs, or any potential risks associated with changing procedures for environmental licensing. We have had no indications to this point that any of that will happen. And we do not also anticipate any significant changes in the leadership of our regulators in Pará State. I'm actually going to be going to Belém, the capital of Pará State, in early December to meet with our regulators and to get a better understanding of what we can expect over the coming months. But the word that we're hearing is continuity, continuity, continuity. Brazil has a very mature mining industry. The new administration is very, very aware of that and are going to be doing everything they can to support responsible miners like TriStar moving forward.
So that is very good news. Before we let you go, Andrew, is there any final points that you would like to leave with our audience?
Oh, certainly. Well, I mean, we're very excited about Castelo de Sonhos. Anyone who is familiar with gold mining knows that there are a lot of challenges that can be presented to developing a project. And we just feel incredibly fortunate because Castelo de Sonhos is located in an incredibly mining-friendly state, an incredibly mining-friendly historical mining area of our state. We have fantastic community support. We have great support from the local, municipal, and state governments. It's very well known that our project is going to stimulate and attract a lot of investment to the region. We've got incredible transport and power infrastructure. And really for us, we are just looking forward to all the next steps that are coming for our project. Preparing for this great site visit from our environmental regulators, preparing for a public hearing to be able to really present the project to all of our different stakeholders. And we are building the team on the ground, and we are building the organization for what we know is going to be a very exciting couple of years to come for TriStar and the Castelo de Sonhos project.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Andrew, and we will definitely have to have you on again and hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Megan.